And you ain't getting a hand in there, are you? That is actually pretty dangerous. Oh my God! Yeah, that's not allowed. Oh, he put a sake. Hi, I'm Lee from iGas Heating Ltd. I've been a plumbing and heating engineer now for almost 15 years, and we're about to take a look at some of Britain's finest plumbing work. Oh my God, for sake. Well, you're meant to be minimum distance 300 mil from an opening, so I think that normally works out standard bricks, at least 2 bricks away, but he's obviously drilled, looks like he's drilled through the frame of the window. Jesus Christ! Who does that? How'd you get away with it? Even the brickwork below it, look at them 3 bricks. Horrendous. The geezers took a step back from that and thinking, yeah, mate, I'm the you know what I mean? Yeah. Is that under the screen?
What is wrong with this picture, Lee?
What's right with it, mate? Even the expanding foam is rough. Jesus, mate. Yeah, obviously you good luck trying to fix that and clean it and everything else. I mean, you could probably just get the magnet out, but there's another valve. See that black lever on the chrome pipe? Obviously, you use that to turn the water off to the valve, and there's another one that goes on the bottom of it, which is obviously either, if that's a counter or a screed, then it's buried in the screed. So, yeah, horrific, mate. What has he done there? See that again? No, he put that the wrong way, because that plume, the smoke, is meant to be coming out the top of that black bit. Yeah, it does look like he's used the wrong pipe work for starters. But that black pipe is basically where you see that smoke coming out. That's meant to be coming out the top of that smaller black pipe. That's the whole point of it. It's called a plume kit. So the plume comes out of that rather than the bottom bit that is coming out of it at the moment. And again, even just the fact that he's got a white flue, white collar and black pipe, it just looks awful. Oh my God. That plastic fittings, you're not allowed them within 1 metre of a boiler normally. It might be to do with heat or something like that. I'm generally not certain on it. But I'm sure it's within 1 metre, you're not allowed any plastic pipe.
So there's no issue with having plastic elbows on copper piping?
I mean, yeah, you can do it, but like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just horrific. So what you'd normally do is have, say you've got plastic pipe under the floor, you'd have a plastic elbow, and then you put the copper tail in the floor, so you can only see the copper. There's nothing against doing that in per se, but you'd never have it on show, ever. That's like sackable offence, mate. Oh my God. Yeah, oh my God. Flexi-tails. He's got a speed fit elbow on the condense pipe. Not allowed to do that. Oh, and he's put a oh my God. What's he done there? He's teed in. Oh no, that other cold disappears in the filling loop, I guess. But yeah, it's the same thing. You can't have flexi-tails just connecting straight on the boiler. It's horrific. I suppose it'd be good if you're in a country that's really susceptible to earthquakes to take up the expansion in the pipe, but yeah.
Is that against regs or anything like that, though? Or
I'm pretty sure it will be, yeah. I mean, I've never looked because it's just not something you would do, but again, you wouldn't have a flexible connection going straight on the boiler. It's just not the dumb thing. And that speed fit on the condense isn't allowed either. That, I mean, again, I've seen worse than that. It's rough as don't get me wrong, but you just wouldn't have like pipe work done like that. Do you know what I mean? It is rough as anything. I'm guessing that's a screeded floor, so you can't lift the floor up to move the pipes, but you just bend it. Do you know what I mean? Put a nice little kick on it or something. You wouldn't use compression elbows for certain. So yeah, I mean, it's not the worst I've seen in the world, but again, it's just rough as hell. You just put a little bend in the pipe, a little kick. You wouldn't dog leg it like that. And at least you'd have them looking symmetrical, so both the pipes going in with it even. Do you know what I mean? Not like you've got 10 mil gap one side and then 100 mil gap the other end. You could move it over so you had 40 odd mil either side. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's not allowed because that's underneath a, looks to me like a carport or something. It's just under a roof. So if you're sitting in that room that it's in, you're just breathing in a nice bit of carbon monoxide. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't feel great after a couple of hours and you'd be asleep. Do you know what I mean? But it does look like that's probably a carpool. So again, in some situations, if it's open-ended both ends, like there's not a solid end on it, it is actually allowed. What you'll find, I've even seen builders where obviously you've got a boiler in the kitchen, they build an extension on the back of the kitchen and the flue's then in the new extension, and they just leave it while they're doing their work, or run like a bit of waste pipe to outside. I've seen some really bad things, but without seeing more, that could be, as it is, not the worst install in the world. Do you know what I mean? But still, you'd be too close to the plastic. You need to be lower. Horrendous. Yeah. These are actually they're good because there's a reg where if you've got a toilet, you've got to have something to wash your hands within a certain distance of it. So if you've got a really small toilet where you can't fit a sink, that's what these are designed for. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't have one in my house, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're coming off mains, it's the same as what you drink out your kitchen tap. If that's fed from a tank, you're not allowed to drink tank water because it's like Legionella and wells, like rat's disease, like leptospirosis and all that. So. Oh my God! You sure the picture ain't the wrong way around? That's brilliant. What you will find, actually, to be fair, is see the bar that's nearest the floor. You could just get the water going straight down that bar to the other valve and missing out all the rungs. I mean, you don't know unless you actually felt it, but I mean, you do a good job to even get a towel on that. It looks like it's flush to the wall. Some designer rads, they'll have a sticker saying fly and return because they've got a baffle inside and the water will only go one way. But on them towel rads, I don't think you have. Normally they're obviously vertical, aren't they? So you can have your fly and return on the bottom either way. It doesn't matter. They're normally like bi-directional. But yeah, my worry on that is it would go through the valve on the right, straight through that pipe to the valve on the left. You wouldn't get no flow through it. Oh, that's it. I mean, again, that is rough. That's all it is. You can see the big kink in that Flexi-tail. So it's very unlikely you're going to get good flow through it. And then what you've then got is a pressure point where that'll burst in two places. Once they burst, if that's on mains, mate, they go and you're in big trouble, especially if that looks to me it's behind like a false wall or something like that. So you're going to be banging trouble when that goes. But them kinks, you're going to get no flow whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, you've got some hard to reach places where getting a bit of copper in and getting in there and soldering it is a nightmare. So I've used them on taps. So a lot of taps come with Flexi-tails to make the install easier. So there's nothing wrong with Flexis per se, but you've got to fit them properly. You can't bend them around like that because that is going to blow. And you ain't going to get no flow through it. You open a tap on that, it's going to dribble out. Same as if you had a hose pipe and you just squeeze the hose pipe, you ain't going to get no water through it. So it looks to me like his first fix is too high. So the copper that's coming through the wall should be 200 mil lower. Do you know what I mean? And then that would you put an elbow on it, and then the copper tail the Flexi-tail would be straight in. Or looking at that, I would just not have a Flexi there at all, and just do it in copper, a little bit of copper, and you'd be laughing. But yeah, it looks to me he's got his first fix. Like the copper going through the wall originally is far too high. So if you've done that 200 mil lower with an elbow looking up, then that Flexi-tail would just be straight. It'd be lovely. Yeah, horrendous. Oh, you meant to turn the gas off. Jesus Christ. Good luck getting a leak. Do you know what I mean? Because what you've got, the left-hand side of that meter is a thing called an ECV and emergency control valve. So if you've ever got a gas leak, you need to turn that lever off. And you ain't getting a hand in there, are you? So that is actually pretty dangerous. By the fact it looks horrendous. And I'm sure there'll be a reg on some sort of ventilation around it.
Do you think a homeowner or something's boxed that in themselves?
Looks like it, yeah. Or it could be some carpenter. The homeowner said, I don't like looking at it. So he just stuck a cupboard around it. Because we get it all the time. We fit a boiler, go back a year later, and the kitchen fitters put a cupboard around it. And you've got to take the cupboard off to get access to the boiler just to service it. So, yeah, it could be, like you say, it could be the homeowner. It could have just been a dodgy carpenter. I think, obviously, the rage is at the minute, people don't like things on show. They want everything boxed in, so all toilets are concealed and things like that. But when it comes to things like maintenance, it's impossible. Like, the thing I like about you go use a Germans, for example, they don't have boilers in kitchen cupboards or bedrooms. They have an actual plant room where all your boilers are, all your tanks are, and all you've got to do is run the pipes everywhere. And it's like if you go into an office, Like, you've got a designated plant room for all the boilers. And that's what I think British houses we lack on massively. Like, you shouldn't be having kitchens, boilers in a nice 30 grand kitchen hidden in the cupboard. Do you know? It's rough. But all the people want to do, I fit my boiler, so I think I've done my bit. And then the chippy comes in and thinks, oh, I've made that look nice and pretty, so I put a cupboard around it. But you don't realise the ball ache it'll cause a year later when you're trying to service it. Because all boilers have got, in the manufacturer's instructions, minimum clearances. Like Baxi 600, for example, you've got to have 200 below the boiler, like free space for servicing. And I think it's 400 in front of it, so you can get the cover off. So, you know, if you put them in a kitchen cupboard, sometimes you're taking the reveal off, you've got to take the cupboard door off, you've got to take the top patches off to get to the flue, to test the flue. And it's just, yeah, like you say though, it's about education, isn't it? Some people generally don't know that. So they're doing their job, thinking they're doing the customer a good turn, but really they're not. They're making things very difficult and sometimes quite unsafe, like this one. That chrome bit is a rad extension tail, but why he needed, I'll tell you what he's done. So he's took a rad off originally that was bigger than the new one he's put on, but like 100 mil smaller, the new rad, do you know what I mean? But again, there's just no need for it, because all you do is the valve that's there, attach that to the rad he's fitted, and then that pipe would be 100 mil shorter. And you just cut it and repipe it. Do you see what I mean? So you don't need the tail. So where it comes out the floor, I cut it there, put a brand new valve on the new rad, so that chrome tail would come out, and then you just dogleg the pipe down to the existing bit in the floor. But ideally, what you want to do is lift the floor up, move the pipe to the new position. But like I say, if it's a screed floor, sometimes it ain't possible, or if it's tiled floor, things like that. But at least there's no need for that tail. But he's being lazy because he's reusing the existing valves. Ideally, if you fit a new rad, just change the valve while you're there. Do you know what I mean? And then you could repipe that quite easy, and it wouldn't look great still, but it'd look a lot better than that. Oh my God, what has he done there? See, again, that it's not the worst because you need a trap. It's the only thing I'm imagining. See where it goes up and down to where they go in like a U. It's no different to a U-bend under a sink, but I don't see the need for doing it there if you've got a U-bend under your sink. That's what I can think of, or what's happening is when you're flushing it, it's losing its seal, so they've double sealed it. So again, there might be a reason behind that, but all you need to do is fit a fanny trap rather than fitting them. It don't make sense. Plus that white pipe on the bottom looks very level to me. Do you know what I mean? They should have a fall on it. And look, on the one on the right-hand side, the bigger pipe, the top T, that's upside down. You see where it's swept, that bit there, that should be the other way. It encourages the water to flow a certain way.
Wow.
On that one, it's encouraging the water to run uphill, not downhill. And different coloured pipes, which is just awful. You'd have external pipe, you want everything the same colour. That looks like, to me, it's probably a bit of temporary toilet or something like that, or while they're doing an extension or something like that. I would hope. I'd like someone step back from that and thought, yeah, mate, I've done it. Give us 700 quid. You know what I mean? I mean, again, looking at it, it don't look to me like it looks to me there's a reason for it. But I'm obviously just second guessing. But it's just so rough. You've got two pipes going through the same hole. Do you know what I mean? And then them ones on the right with the T's the wrong way round. But what I'm guessing, this is a new build. Yeah, so a lot of new builds have got microbore plastic pipe. What you normally do in a new build, if you're using microbore, behind the rad, there'll be a little hole where the two pipes come out. You bend the pipes into the valve, and most you'll see is like just a little bit of white going into the valve. But what they've done there is they've took off a normal radiator and replaced it with a towel rad. They've used the existing valves, because what you would do normally is you'd stick an inline chrome valve on the towel rad, and then end up them plastic pipes going straight into it. Again, you're always going to see a little bit of pipe work. You can't get away from it, especially with a towel rad, because they're not solid, they're rungs, isn't they? So you can see behind them. But he's just absolutely bodged that. Use the existing valve, put chrome elbows on the new towel rad. It's just lazy, and you look at it, look at the state of it. Do you know what I mean? I'd be tempted and all to drop that towel rad a bit lower, just so the pipes are coming out from within the rad rather than below it, so it's not completely on show. But again, you'd get them to make good the hole at least, like replaster that, so all you can see is the two pipes coming out, not the big square hole. I reckon that's a DIY Dave. He bought a towel rad because he wanted a towel rad, and he's got some chrome elbows out of Screwfix, watched something on YouTube, and he stepped back, and he's probably got the of his life with the missus that night, because now he's a plumber. Do you know what I mean?